So this seems like a really important thing.
True professionals like this who represent what we are in every single market.
There are opportunities out there, and you just have to grab it.
But a moment like that, where you realize you really do touch people's lives, it's a good feeling.
I mean, it gives me so much joy.
Yeah.
Watching or giving somebody the keys to a house.
Yeah.
And saying, here, welcome to your new home.
CNG Media.
Hey everyone, this episode is in collaboration with Robert Graham, featuring styles from the Short Hill store in New Jersey. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to Vino with Vito. Today we got the Wizard and today's special guest, Dominic Santiago, real estate investor, real estate developer, and I just want everybody to know Dominic is an influencer, and Dominic made fun of my Robert Graham shirt today. Look at this.
I would have wore.
I got parrots on it. Look, I got a zebra. Look at the back. Huh? How cool is that?
Yeah,
right?
that's pretty cool.
We gotta smoke some pot now.
We got a zebra. No smoking pot. We only drink some wine. Dominic's gonna have some wine with me, and the Wizard's not gonna have wine.
6 weeks clean.
6 weeks clean, huh?
That's cool.
Yeah, feels great too.
That's cool. So I was I had an apartment in Brickell, had a penthouse in Brickell
In
a couple
Florida?
of years ago. Yeah. So I was buying clothes in Brickell, and it's bright, colorful. But then when you came to New York and New Jersey, you couldn't wear that because it's like, yo, hey Chico, you can't be wearing that stuff. So you needed two sets of closets,
Yeah.
Florida closet,
A north and a south.
You'd have the north, the blues, the grays.
See,
it's funny.
and everybody looks at my shirts and they all say, you know what?
You just cut it.
I can't. They can't wear them. So
Yeah.
it's just
It's your branding.
It's my brand. I love them.
You gotta say, I just got out. I did 25
full.
years.
Well, salud.
school.
Salud.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Which one's that?
This one has been here.
Oh yeah.
We had
That's
this the
Kevin's,
other
right?
It's
time.
pretty good.
Yep.
So what are you working on these days? Tell me what's good, what's bad, what areas are you having trouble in?
There's good, there's the bad, and there's the ugly, right?
And a lot of ugly.
And there's a lot of ugly out there.
Yeah.
Well, right now I've been really busy on the real estate end of it. Okay, people selling their houses, people buying their houses. I was in Italy about a month ago. And I was busier while I was in Italy answering the phone and making deals than I was here. Then when I got back here, it got even busier. And but all different areas, Morris County, Essex County, Bergen County, Passaic County. That's mostly, all the counties I do. But the real estate end of it's been pretty good. The flipping and, the other part of the business that we do and what you do too is we're finding it a little bit more difficult.
Challenging.
Very challenging. How are you finding it on that end of it?
Your first point, which is customers selling properties and buying properties, we had a little bit of trouble because nobody wanted to sell their 2-3% rate. So nobody was like, no way am I going to sell a 2 to 3% rate and then go buy one at 6 or 7. Mortgage payments were doubling, so we didn't have a lot of inventory on that side. Nobody wanted to sell. And then on the flipping side, very little inventory. So a property that should be sold with fire damage, say for $300, $350, now is going for $500, $550, $200,000 more than what it should be going for because there's no inventory. And then by the time you add your materials that are expensive because of the first increase with COVID, and then now the second increase because of the tariffs, and then a lot of the manufacturers just raised their prices even before the tariffs hit. So it continued to reduce our profit margins. So when you're buying a property at, say, $500, $550, and you're spending $250, now you're into it for $750. Your holding costs are whatever, 8-9% because it's a commercial loan or an investor loan. Your profit margins continue to decrease by the time you sell it, and you're paying a transfer fee and maybe a real estate fee. You're picking up $50,000-$60,000, where at one point you were picking up $150 to $200. So that $200 down, it's watered down to 50 or 60, and that sucks.
No,
a lot of work.
It does. There's a lot of work involved, and a lot of people don't realize it. They think, hey, you know what? You just bought an investment property or a house to flip,
HGTV.
and they think it's HGTV. They go in, boom, boom, you're done, and wait, permits. these towns are not coming out that quick.
No.
You know, they're taking their sweet time.
Yeah.
Then they come back. They say, okay, yeah, you're passing on this, but now you got to do this. Well, you didn't notice it last time. Why didn't you tell me last time? Well, I didn't see it last time. And, you know,
tough.
that it delays. It delays. And there's a lot of money on the line, like you said. And what we're seeing is, and what I'm seeing, a lot of new people getting into it and thinking with the HGTV, this is easy. And they're buying the properties almost at market value. So
Leaving no space for profits.
Right.
After renovations.
After renovations
And holding costs.
and holding costs. You have one hiccup, you're negative. Are you seeing that in your areas?
Yeah.
Because I know you do a lot, like
Yeah.
Hudson County and that area there.
So I tell you, Vito, I've had $1 million years between, say you do 4 or 5 flips and you're making 150 to 200. So you could do $800,000 to $900,000, $1 million a year, and that's down 90%. I'm making, I think, maybe 150 on flips this year. That's nothing. You know, I can't live on 150. So you start to second guess yourself, and there's nobody wants to admit it. You're like, hey, is this business model? Is it no good? Is it not working? Is it me? What am I doing wrong? You know, you self-doubt kicks in. So there's a lot of stuff going on. You think that this is not working anymore. Do I need to get a job? I haven't worked in 23 years. I've been self-employed since 1999. So you think, what am I doing wrong? But I know for a fact I'm not doing anything wrong. They just, all the manufacturers and all the companies are passing, they've increased the cost of goods so high that they're not leaving us enough space to live.
Right.
And that's hard.
It is, but everybody's, you know,
It's the same story.
it's the same story. Everybody, you know, is charging more and more and more. Here, I'll give you an example. I don't know if I ever told a story about the guy that closes my pool. Did I tell you the
think
story?
so.
$500 to close your pool.
It's like 300 and change just to open and close the pool, right?
Each
You know,
transaction.
in the summer and then in the
Yeah,
fall.
yeah.
So the one year I asked him, I think it was a couple 2-3 years ago. You know, I asked him. The price went up. I remember it was like $200 or something. And Dan, I hope you're listening because he does listen. So I go, Dan, what happened? This year I went to close the pool again. I think it was like, how much, Dan? $360. I go, 360. I go, what's going on? He goes, 2 years ago, I would ask him, he goes, oh, Biden. I said, okay, Biden. This year, I go, what's going on? He goes, the price of gasoline, this and that. And I go, and whatever. I go, but one year you tell Biden, you couldn't wait for Trump. Now Trump's is
Now it's
in, and
tariffs.
it went up more, right?
Yeah.
So what's going on? You know, but you're right. Everybody passes the buck.
Yeah.
And some of it is not, shouldn't be like that.
Well, you know, and I understand, like, even the cost of chemicals, like to run a pool. Mm-hmm. And I was big on, you know, I have a pretty big pool and I throw big parties and I network and I have people over, I have family over. So you're like, my barbecue used to cost, $750, right? That's all in with liquor and good burgers and good steaks and some shrimps and everything else.
Triple,
but now it's like
quadruple.
$1,500,
Easy,
1,800,
yeah.
and you're like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. So you start to pull back on that. But even like when we power wash the pavers every year or every 2 years, and then you have the sand that goes in between it.
As a matter of fact, I got to do mine. Go ahead.
Well, they used to cost like $25 a bag. Now they're like $60 a bag. And then you need like 20 bags.
Yeah.
So you $1,200 and fucking a little bit of sand. Excuse my language, but it's fucking shocking.
It's crazy.
And when you're making 500, 600,
So
700,
you don't care.
You don't care.
Right.
The problem is that we're not making that type of money because they keep on increasing the insurance policies. They keep on increasing the taxes. Yeah. They keep on increasing the cost of goods. You can't pass. Like right now, I just finished the house. So $900,000 house. So if somebody buys that, right? They're gonna pay, I don't know, $6,000, $7,000 plus taxes and insurance. whatever the mortgage payment is. So it's not like everybody that could pay that type of,
Monthly
mortgage.
nut, right.
Right. And I think a good price point these days is like $500,000-$600,000, and I would see houses that were $500,000-$600,000, shitty houses that would sell immediately because of the price point and because of the affordability.
Yeah.
But when you go up to $1 million and above, it prices out a lot of people.
Whole different ball game.
But then I can't sell that house for $500,000-$600,000 because I don't feel right about selling a house that hasn't been renovated in 50, 60 years.
As a matter of fact, I just went to show a house this morning, and I want to go see this. I want to go see this. Okay. I pull up, and I'm like, I can't wait till they come. They're not even going to want to go inside.
Yeah,
right?
it smells.
Gutters hanging off.
Yeah, no, I opened the door, main road, trucks going by, and I open the front door. It hasn't been renovated in 70 years, and I'm like, I go, come on in. I'm pretty sure you don't want to come in. You're right. I'm sorry. Walk in the foyer, and it's like you walk right out.
Yeah.
But that's what you get for $519,000.
It's the price point. So I've seen houses where, how much for that house? $500-$600, and I'm like, I won't go in, and it'll get sold in a week or two, and I can't believe it. But I know now it's the price point. So somebody will say, I'll buy it and I'll do the renovations slowly. So when you check with the customer, with the couple, a year or 2 years later, they're getting divorced. And I'm going to tell you why. We're going to buy the house. She wants a new kitchen. She wants a bathroom. She wants new roof. She wants new siding. So they think that it's going to cost like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 once they get the house and they're paying the mortgages and the taxes and car payments and life, all right, kids and stuff. And they don't have money to do the renovations. The relationship starts to fall apart.
Right.
So I've seen like affluent people, attorneys, and good guys, good couples, and they'll buy a $900,000 fix-up, like a fixer-up or old house that needs renovations, and when they price out the kitchen is $100,000, they price out a pool, it's $150,000, $200,000. And then a little siding, so they need like $300,000-$400,000 in renovations, and they don't have the money.
Adds up quick.
24 months later, they're divorced. I'm like, what happened? Oh,
finances.
He couldn't get me the kitchen that I want. So she's like, "Are you single, Dom?" I'm like, "I'm single."
But I'm not giving you that kitchen either.
Plus, you got 2 kids, so I'm not doing that deal. Not taking that deal on. But you get what I'm trying to say.
No, but you're absolutely right, because a lot of times I'll show people houses too, and you'll be like, "Oh, we're gonna, renovate. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that."
Yeah.
And I go, "Okay, and how are you gonna do that? You're buying a house FHA with 3.5% down. You're already stretching. What makes you think
your
in
DI
a
is
year,
50.
2 years, you're gonna have $50,000 to do a kitchen?"
your DI is 50.
Right. They're looking at you. Hey, you know what? Maybe you're right. You got to look at the house and say, "Hey, is this house for me the way it is right now, with minimal to do, with maybe paint,
And
clean
you do
up,
it as you go along.
and then worry about it down the road, but
Yeah.
I'm happy like this for the next couple of years." And that's what I try to explain, buyers out there. You know what?
Yeah.
Don't just go in there and say, "Hey, I'm going to go in and next year I got a new kitchen, the following year I got a new bathroom."
happen.
That ain't happening.
So I'm gonna add a little value to your viewers. So a pointer that I used when I was younger. So I would see an old house and I would knock on the door and I would say, I'm sorry to bother you. I just got married. I just had a baby. Are you interested in selling the house?" So that I can bypass the realtors.
Off market, yeah.
Right, because if once it hits the market,
Forget
a
it.
$400,000 house is going to go up to
Six,
$550,000, right? $600,000. So the goal is to get that house before it hits the market. So if anybody's listening and if anybody wants to like find a house, it takes time, and it takes guts and balls to do this, but it works.
It does
works. So you say, "I'm sorry to bother you. I just got married. Do you know of anybody that's selling a house in the area?" And they usually say, "I'm thinking about selling in 6 months." You go back with your wife and your kids, and you say, "This is my family. We want to buy the house for us." And then you buy the house at a discount.
We just had a friend do that a year ago.
No, that makes me laugh though. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I just got married.
Don't
and
wear
just
that
had a
shirt.
kid.
Though. It won't work.
What do
Bring
you
the kids, have them start crying.
No, but you're absolutely you're absolutely right about that, because I had a house that actually my daughter bought. Okay, but it hit the market and everything. So we ended up buying it. We're talking to the owner, an older gentleman, and we're done, and the deal's done and everything. And he goes, I just got to show you a stack of letters I got,
Right.
and people knocking on my door,
All
and he
day.
would open the letters like, here, we just get married, or I just got engaged.
If you go in person,
It's better. No,
Right,
but
and
he
you have
said
to
people,
practice your pitch.
Right.
Yeah.
But people would knock on the door. So I said, can I see those letters? And he was showing me some of the letters. I go, shit, that's my cousin. That's my friend.
my office.
That's somebody else. I'm like, damn. And I would call him up and I would go, when did you send him that letter? About 2 years ago, before you sold me the other house.
so I'll give you guys another one. So, a couple of years ago, I got into buying paintings. I was trying to diversify my holdings. I'm like, I have too much real estate. I don't want to buy cars. I don't want to buy watches. I want to buy paintings. So I started buying like paintings. I went down to Soho, and I meet an artist, and he's like, buys like, he'll have like a painting like that, a lot of colors. Where you put up a big painting like this on your wall, on a white wall, and it'll make
Pops.
any apartment, any house look beautiful
Yeah.
with a little bit of wine and some candles, and you were like,
Florida's like that too, yeah.
So he says, come visit me. I want to show you some of my work. I only have a couple of pieces here. So he gives me an address, and I get to the address, and I'm like, I think I got the wrong address. I'm by the water. I'm at the marina, and he's like, no, you're there. You're here. I'll be out in 5 minutes. So he brings me on to his boat, and it's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, downtown Jersey City. The
Nice.
view's spectacular. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, this is so beautiful. And I've been into homes that are 16,000 square feet.
Yeah.
In Alpine and in different parts of New Jersey, different parts of the world, and I was blown away. So I'm like, how much is this boat? I want one. So he says, it's old, 80s.
Oh, wow.
I don't move it much. I got it for $200, and my maintenance, my marina fees are like $1,000, $1,300. I'm like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
I bought one, and I was on the water for a little while, but it's a cool way to live and
I looked into that.
bypass the high cost of housing, because like right now, every time I go down to Long Branch, right, and I go down to the shore,
fortune.
it's so much money.
$6,000 a week.
So I'm like, I think I might have to go buy another boat and put it at the
Put it down
marina.
there.
And it just moves all the time. It's just like weird because
Right,
you're just
right.
moving
It's
all the
just-
time.
I underwrote that whole entire business model with
But it's
houseboats
cool.
coming from overseas.
But it's cool.
It works.
It's cool. The only thing is that it's really, really, really cold in the wintertime. So the water freezes around you. I opened up a website called New Jersey Yacht Rentals, and I was offsetting some of my expenses by renting the boat out.
Yeah.
Parties and stuff like that. I was hitting the Hudson, the East River, but it's a good play. It's a good play because right now it's not cost effective to buy a house or to buy an apartment.
So you buy a boat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, do you
I
still
looked into
have that boat on the
No,
marina?
no, because one of my partners, he kind of went overboard with the parties, and he thought he
sunk the
was in
boat.
Studio 54. He got a
Miami
little
vibes.
crazy. Yeah, he got a little crazy. We were like,
I think we found our new best friend.
right. I know,
He was
right?
nuts. He was nuts, but he was cool. He's a doctor, but he was nuts. He was a good guy. But his wife was like, either you get
It's
him out
gotta
the boat,
stop.
or we're gonna find him dead on the boat one day.
What kind of doctor was he?
man.
Or what kind of
I
doctor
think
is
he
he?
was like a cancer doctor, but he was nuts though.
He was a proctologist.
Proctologist.
He was like, like 4 girls on the boat. Oh, these are my friends. I'm like, what's her name? Sunshine. I'm like, oh, okay.
Time to get out of here.
This one is J-Lo. I said, why you call her J-Lo? She looks like J-Lo. I'm like, okay. She does look like J-Lo.
And by the way, everybody, this is the first time I ever met Dominic. This is our first
So
conversation.
we got stories, and and real stories, because there's a lot of guys that haven't been through it. I can't tell you how many times I made millions and I lost millions, and then you're like, fuck, I should have just kept my job at the bank because I was a banker for a long time. So, this is like legal gambling. You could make a
Yeah.
couple of $1 million, you could lose a couple of $1 million. I just lost like $2 million on my first commercial deal. I buy a couple of acres up in Woodbury Commons. I'm trying to make a retail center.
You did a video on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I should have went into it a little deeper. So there was like a lot of politics going on at the time between the Hasidics from Brooklyn and the locals. And my paperwork got jammed up for like 4 or 5 years. My holding costs, my engineers, my architect fees, my landscaping architect fees. I mean, water lines. I mean, just it was just nuts. So you make a couple of $1 million on the residential side. I try to jump into the commercial, and I lost a couple of $1 million. And I'm like, oh man, this
Never
is
do this again.
bad. This is bad. So whoever's in residential, just be careful if you go over to the commercial side, because it's
Whole
a
different
different
ballgame,
animal.
yeah.
It's a different animal. And then if you're in commercial, just stay there. Don't go to residential because it sucks. Too much competition.
A lot of competition out there. What are you working on now? Do you have
So-
anything now that you're almost complete, or?
Yeah. So at one point, well, a couple of years ago, I was doing flipping my own houses, and I was renovating houses for others, and my profit margins were like 25%, and I was doing about $3 to $4 million a year in sales. So, and my profit margins were like 25%. But and then when they increased the rates, like 6-7 times in a short period of time, that 25 went down to 9. When they increased my insurance policies and the cost of goods, that went up another 10%. That reduced it even further. So you're running on a single-digit profit margin, and you're doing some serious volume, and you're about to catch a heart attack. And then I realized that the business model wasn't working anymore because the profit margins were too slow. So you slow them down, and you say, okay, this is not working. I'm working too hard, and I'm not making that much money. And then you just reorg. So I'm reorganizing myself, and I'm going back to the residential where I made most of my money, but we're still having the issue of
Margins.
low inventory, high prices, and high cost of goods, where it's also challenging. But that's all I know how to do. I've been doing it for 25 years. So, and I can't get a job. I don't know. I haven't worked in 25 years. So I got to keep to what I know.
Well, you know. Now you have one you just completed, right?
Correct.
What?
East
town?
Rutherford, New Jersey. Nice property. My cost basis with my materials and my holding cost was $750,000. The bank came in at appraised it at $1,050,000, which was good. My highest offer was $850,000.
Wow.
So going back to the affordability. So I don't want to take the $850,000. My last offer was $850,000. I counted at 9 so that I can pick up $150,000. I can back out $50,000 for expenses and make $100,000. I've been working on the property for 8-9 months. So they said no. I got a call yesterday, and they said that they would consider going up, but not to the 900. So I don't want to work for 8-9 months and put up $300,000-$400,000 to make
right.
$80,000, $70,000. It sucks. So I would keep it. So I'm thinking about keeping it, and I think that I need one more document. I can convert it into a 2-family, and it'll offset the high monthly mortgage payment. So I think that'll push me to the $950,000 to $1 million range.
If you can get it into the 2-family.
I can get it into the 2-family. I only need one more document. It's a 2-family zone, so I should be okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's some of the stuff that we're experiencing. Like you guys said earlier, HDTV. Everybody thinks that you can renovate a house. A lot of people are buying houses very expensive, very old, and then when they start the renovations, everything behind the walls
It's an oh shit moment.
are rotted. You need new electricity, you need new plumbing. Even when you renovate it, you have broken pipes in the wintertime. The heating and cooling system is not effective and efficient. So you're getting like $800-900 a month PSE&G bills or utility bills. So you need to put in new heating and cooling systems that are energy efficient so that you can get $200-300 a month. Because if not, they're not cost effective. And then the windows are old, the houses are not insulated. So there's some real issues, and I think we're going to also see a lot of foreclosures in the next 18 to 24 months. I'm starting to see the cracks.
And credit card debt is still through the roof.
And then the car payments are high.
Yep.
I've been driving a Porsche for the last 20 years, and my lease was up on Friday, and I didn't renew. And I had to, I had.
What do you got? 911.
I've had 911s, I've had Panameras, I've had Cayennes. You know, you're making $900,000 a year.
Why not?
I would buy sometimes all three of them.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't care. I would write them off. I had the money. But this is the first time in 20 years that I don't have a Porsche.
Goes up and down.
No, I'm fine with it. I'm a smart guy. I mean, and not be. I don't want to like drive a Porsche and not have any money.
Yeah.
Right.
But this is the first time in 20 years that I don't have a like one of those cars. But isn't that interesting? I mean, and it takes a special person to even admit it.
Right.
To
right.
say,
to say,
hey,
hey,
I
this
don't-
is where we're at.
I don't
you
have
know?
it. I mean, I'm only making say $150,000, and that's not enough to cover my monthly expenses and a nice Porsche, right? That'd be stupid for me to say, oh, I have a Porsche and I don't have any money to go out to dinner.
Yeah.
I'd rather eat.
Then have a Porsche.
Then have a Porsche. That's
Right.
right. Chris has a Porsche.
No. I got a Mercedes. You got the Porsches and the Ferraris.
I mean, I've always liked the exotics, and I I just like cars. I mean, I used to take the bus, and I said, one of these days I want to have cars.
Car.
I still have a couple of cars, but I just don't have a $1,500 a month lease payment.
Yeah, it's crazy though how you're right. Like a $1,500 a month lease payment, and you're like, why should I do that again?
Yeah.
When you're down from making $800-900 a year to
like
150.
I'm down like 70-80%.
Yeah.
About the wholesaling side, ever think about going that route?
Wholesaling is bullshit. It's too many. You have to connect too many dots. The deal always falls through. It's always my cousin wants to buy it, and then my cousin's friend is not the one that's buying it. There's another guy. There's like 4 or 5 people that are trying to make money without having money. You need money. You need money.
Oh, for sure.
You need money.
Yeah. I'll give you an example with wholesale too. One guy came up to me. We had a house, and they're like, "Oh, Vito, just wholesale it to me. I want to do it, this and that. We'll pay you cash, whatever." Okay, no problem. Write up the contract, this and that. All of a sudden, we get it back from the attorney. Guy's borrowing hard money. It's going to take another,
30 days.
30
not bad.
days or whatever. But I'm saying, if I'm going to wholesale it to you, that means I want to close tomorrow. I don't want to wait for the hard money. Because in 30 days, I got to wait for you. I might as well renovate it, and I'll have it on the market in 30 days.
Yeah.
But, what? We ended up giving it to him. The guy did okay on it. But, a lot of people, like you said, you got to have the cash. You're borrowing the hard money. It's going to take a lot longer.
But there's also a lot of fakies, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and you
right?
catch them
And
right away.
Like you and I, we're talking. I know you're the real deal. I know you guys are the real deal. 5 minutes, talking to you. 2 minutes talking to you.
You can
Right?
tell.
You guys know, right, what I'm going through. I'm not saying anything that's not real. But I hear these guys that they're talking, and I'm like, okay, have a good day. I won't talk to them for longer than a minute
Because you know right away.
that they're lying. They're not. So if anybody tells you that their taxes are not going up, that their water bills are going
Insurance,
up,
everything.
that the insurance is going up, that they're having trouble collecting rents, especially on the high side. And I'll give you an example on rents, right? So, let's just use Paterson, New Jersey. So when
My
I got
hometown.
oh really? That's funny. So when I got into Paterson, New Jersey in 2003, a 3-bedroom was $1,300 a month, and now they're going for
In 03, really?
2003, yeah. So now
That was a lot back then,
yeah.
too.
now they're say $2,500 a month, right? The problem is that when you look at income hasn't doubled since 2003,
Correct.
but the rents have. So we're having trouble with our say new construction that we're forced to charge the $25, $26, $27, $100 a month for the 3 bedrooms. So they'll say, "I'll give you $1,000. Could you come back next week?" They'll give you another $500, and then they owe you $1,000. So
yeah.
instead of paying by the 5th of the month, they're dragging it out all the way
Smaller
to the end of the
payments.
day.
Yeah.
To the end of the day of the month. And you either take it or don't take it, and then
have a
you need to
problem.
evict them, and it takes you 6 months to get them out, 8 months to get them out.
Now you just lost
So
all
I
that
just
money.
take it. We have enough units, and we have a local office that we're
volume.
okay taking the payments. But I've sold properties to people that'll tell them, "Hey, you need to pay the rent by the 5th of the month. If not, I'm going to charge you another $100." So you know what the tenants say?
I'm not
really?
paying.
I'm not going to pay you. F you. Take me to court. Then the guy goes down. Guys, told me he wasn't going to pay me the rent by the 5th because I was a little rough with him. I said, you can't do that. You got to be nice. And we know that they're not D customers. I'm going to say they're C customers. Borderline C, D, and some of them are like B. But it's a different clientele and it's a different market.
Conversation,
So
yeah.
when you go pick up the rents, they say, want some coffee? I take the coffee.
Yeah.
Because if not, they get offended. So
Well,
my
I'm just
son will go
kidding.
pick up rents. He's a young guy. He's in
Yeah.
early 30s. He says, gaining weight. The lady wants to cook for me. Be careful. She doesn't want to, smooth. She doesn't want to take you down. But it's a different market.
Yeah.
So when you got customers, when you have buyers that are buying these properties thinking that they're going to be hard with the customers and say, oh, I want my rent by the 5th of the month, they're not going to get the rent for 6 months or 8 months.
What's the saying? You get more with honey than you do with.
Yeah, you
what's the
get
saying?
more, you
It's
get more
hard,
bees
though.
with
Do you-
honey than vinegar.
Do you know how hard that is to pick up $2,500 and you have to go 4 times?
Yeah.
That's hard. It's not
Yeah.
effective and it's not efficient. The only way it's effective and efficient if you have enough inventory
volume.
in the area where you're doing the rounds and
Yep.
you pick it up, and then
You need the volume for that.
you can't just have 4 or 5 houses. You need 20, 15, 16
Yep.
houses. And then what helped us was that we had houses that we bought for 100,000 that the values are now 500,000, 600,000. So I didn't
Yeah.
need to, and then the other point that I want to make is the rents that are like $1,800, $1,900 that are still below the $2,500. Those people pay on
time.
on time
Because they don't want to get
they-
evicted.
right. If they leave those units, they have to go to the $2,500.
And they know that, yeah.
So they're good. And when one unit
a great
vacates, they're like, hey, my cousin wants that unit or my sister wants that unit, and then you try to keep that price range so
Yeah.
you don't have the issues that you have on the
You
higher
ever
side.
take notice of their cars, depending on the units? I always look at that with the parking lot, if they're newer cars or older cars.
So one of the things that's happening now is the traditional husband and wife with 2 kids in a one-family house is
gone.
starting
Gone.
to disappear.
100%. Do you think it's going to come back?
No,
I agree.
Speaking about the water bills, right? Now, just the expenses alone for everybody, right? PSE&G bill the month before, I
money.
think it was like almost $1,000, right?
1,000 almost died.
That's I opened
My
it
mom
up.
too, yeah.
I got to do this month. I'm going to do peekaboo to just I'm scared to see
It's gonna be
what,
like 8
what,
because it was a
what
little.
it's like,
It was a little
right?
cooler.
Got water bill, water and sewer last
Expensive.
quarter, $900.
Very expensive.
And
Mikey
everybody's
Cheryl.
like, "What's going on?" Hey, that's what's
Very
happening.
expensive.
Everything's getting expensive.
So we had a deal in Florida. I don't know, 105 units. These guys were like cap rate 5-6%. Fucking 5%, right? That's stupid, right? You've been around for a long time.
What am I
Fucking
gonna-
insurance
sure,
policy goes up 10,
it's-
15%. You're negative
yeah,
10%.
it's
That's stupid. And
Yeah.
people were buying them,
Yep.
right? So obviously we know that the insurance went up. The other thing they were doing is they were like, oh, added value, right?
The reassessments.
Like, right. We could renovate all the units and increase the rates and okay. And then they were running these crazy scenarios on 150 units, and then they say, oh, I can renovate each unit for $10,000, which
Yeah.
we know that that's not going to happen.
You're doing the countertops.
So it's
that's
like
about
40,
it. Yeah.
50.
50.
So
That's
they're
right.
like, hey, we were off by, we were off on
Big
our
time.
numbers, so we need to recapitalize. We need more money from the investors, and investors don't have another 500 each or $1 million each, whatever the number is. So we're starting to see, like some of those, products crack.
Florida, even with the storm windows, the reassessments
Yeah.
on those, 40,000 for a 2-bedroom. People
Yep.
don't have it, especially if you're on a fixed income. There's
Yep.
no shot.
painful.
There's no way.
I have right now. I sent somebody a townhouse, right, without even reading it. It came up on the MLS. I
Yeah.
didn't even read the remarks. It's X amount. Boom, I send it over. I get a phone call back. I want to see it, but can you find out why it's an extra $200 and something added assessment? I'm like, what are you talking about? I read the thing, right? It's another $200 and something added assessment for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So you got like another 12.5,
Yeah.
for 5 years. And I called the realtor. Oh, they had to put new roofs on or something.
No, it's
and I'm like,
painful.
and they're not gonna. They're selling it with the added assessment. Yeah, they don't want to pay it. I'm like, who the heck's going to buy it?
It's
Yeah.
painful.
People are still buying it, though.
Painful.
Florida, same thing.
I'll tell you another one that I saw. I had a 2-bedroom in Bergenfield, New Jersey, Cape, old house, 60, 70 years old. So I make it into a colonial, 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. So I tell my son, you should take this house. This is a beautiful house. He just got married, had a baby. I said, you should take this house. If you don't want it, maybe I'll take this house. This is a nice house. And I get the new assessment. $24,000. I said, holy shit, right? So I go in and I put in a tax appeal, and they rejected the tax appeal.
Right away.
They're like, no. So I couldn't keep the house. Every time when I was trying to sell the house, guys were coming in, the husband is like, hey, what are the taxes on this house? I say, 20. By the time I said the second number, the guy was gone,
Yeah.
right? Got to be careful with taxes. Some towns are like nuts. Rutherford, New Jersey, the tax rate is double. So I think the tax rate in East Rutherford is 1.4. I'd say, let's say Rutherford is 2.8. It's double. It's like across the street from each other, right? So if you have grown children not using the school system, sell your house and move across the street.
Yeah.
Because you're paying $25,000 for nothing. And I met a couple of people at the bar, started drinking, and they're like, where do you live? I said, I just finished the house in East Rutherford. They're like, oh, how do you like East Rutherford? I said, I love my taxes. I gotta, I think I pay like $9,000, $10,000, and I don't want to pay $24,000. I don't have kids. We were just talking about that. They were just talking about that. I'm like, sell your house. I'll build you a house if you want in New Jersey. Buy something old. In East Rutherford, I'll renovate it. I'll make it look good. But you get the point.
No,
these taxes are crazy.
Oh, it's insane.
Insurance
I
are
mean,
crazy.
they just keep going up. Same insurance, car
Our
insurance.
politics are crazy.
Homeowners insurance. I got my homeowners insurance. I had to renew, and on there was an extra $500 or $600 a year for hail and wind. So I called the insurance company. I go, it's an extra $600 a year for hail and wind. I go, what happens if a hurricane blows through? She goes, oh, yeah, you're covered. I go, what about if I get wind and hail and I don't get that policy? You're not covered unless it's a hurricane. So they try to figure out different angles, different ways to kind of get you.
It's painful.
And they can say it's not a hurricane.
And they can say it's not a hurricane. If it's not a
weatherman said it
named,
was, yeah.
If it's not a named hurricane, I'm not covered. So I paid the extra $600.
But it's everything. It's cable bills are like $300-$400 a month.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because
Cell phones.
everything. It's so crazy because I remember when I was younger, I said, all the old guys, all fucking talking about how expensive everything is. So I'm that old guy now.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that. I'm just complaining. This is real issues that because I talk to my daughter. She's in her early 30s, mid 30s, and she pays $2,000 a month for a 2-year-old, and it's going up another 10-15%. On January 1st, she's paying $2,400 a month for daycare for one child.
You work to live.
Right.
So it's just wild. It's just everything is so wild.
But speaking about the daycare,
Inflation.
right? $2,500 a month for daycare. So it's $30,000 a year, right? Just for daycare.
But that's net. It's not. It's not. It's after taxes, not pre-tax.
Right. So now you look at it and you say, okay, again, these salaries now. Say you're making $75,000-$80,000 a year, right? And you got to put your kid in daycare for $30,000.
You wiped
a
out
year.
half of your income.
Right. But by the time you take out taxes, everything else,
Lunch.
and lunch, this and
You
that,
gotta do your hair.
right?
You have
And
$5 left.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fucked up.
It is.
it
It's
is.
fucked up.
It is.
That's why people
fucked
are
up.
moving. People are moving.
Well, I don't think that's the solution, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if you could pick up the $75,000, $100,000 a year, then you're okay. But if you're reducing your monthly expenses, but you're also reducing your income, then that doesn't work. So a lot of people that move down south to North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and they all come back. Florida's gotten very expensive, but everybody that moved down south because they were trying to reduce their
income,
monthly
yeah.
expenses. Also reduce your income, so the formula didn't work.
It cancels out.
Yeah, no, it didn't work.
Yeah.
It was worse because at least here the money moves a little
Moves,
faster.
they have more velocity.
If
yeah.
you ever go down south and you ever try to get $1 from somebody, it's the hardest thing in the world. They just look at you. They just look at you, right? I mean, because they're on fixed incomes.
Yep.
They just look at you. They're a little slower. Money doesn't
Way
move
slower.
faster. Over here, they cut you the check. They might negotiate with you, but it's very hard to make money down south.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. There's no opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, there is opportunity, but not like here.
Yep.
Our area is a whole different animal.
But it's challenging, and I think the business model, will wash itself out when everybody gets in trouble and with the hiccups and everything else that they go through. But we're not there yet. But in the meantime, if your cost bases are high and you don't have high cost bases, you're in trouble. And it's expensive to live, and I think the goal is for everybody to try to cut back on their lifestyle, because your lifestyle becomes a problem too, right? You go out for a glass of wine and it's $20, $18 at a nice restaurant. You don't want to go into a shitty restaurant, so your friends are still a little affluent, so it becomes expensive.
Yeah, it adds up. We were just talking about that too.
Right, but like here, I just got back from Italy, right? You're in Italy, you go to a bar, right? You order an Aperol Spritz or a glass of wine, and it's not like here.
$8.
Yeah, it's like €5.
Not even
Yeah.
€5, €6.
Leave $10, you're a movie star.
Right, and they don't tip there, but I made sure I always tipped,
tip in
right?
Europe.
So I think we had 2 Aperol Spritz, a glass of wine, and a beer.
$24.
I think it was under €20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gave a few dollar tip, I think,
Yep.
to make the 20.
Guy says, you want to meet my
€20.
sister? You want to meet my cousin?
but-
you want to meet my cousin? She's only 25.
But it's crazy.
She wants to get married.
But it's crazy the difference, you
Yeah.
know, living here and what we got to go through. But again, they don't make the money there that we
Yeah.
make here. But still,
It's
come on.
wild. I went to Kiki on the Water in Miami. I had 2 drinks. My girlfriend had 2 drinks, and it was.
Let me guess.
Go ahead.
You get 4 drinks total.
Yeah.
200.
180, 200 with
Yeah.
20 with the tip.
With the
It was
tip.
200
For 4 drinks.
for 4 drinks, and
I'm
then
out.
I left. I said, "Let's go," and then you go outside, and I had a rental. And these, guys had, nice cars. Fucking shitty car, and it was dirty because I was driving throughout the whole state, and that was like $20. Expensive. I said, let's go to the casino. At least I could have, play a little bit, have a couple of drinks, then they don't kill me for $25 a drink.
A drink.
Very expensive, which is
Everything
is
is.
too wild. So a regular guy that makes $100,000
Not going
is gonna
for it.
have a trouble going to Miami for 2 nights because it's gonna cost you $4,000 or $5,000.
Easy.
Palm Beach is expensive. Anywhere you go, it's expensive.
But going back to Italy, I bought a bottle of Primitivo for like €5, €4.
Oh, it was the best
I couldn't
Primitivo.
open it. I had to buy a wine opener. It's like €12. The wine opener is more than the bottle.
But then it was a good wine opener, though.
Oh,
That's
yeah, I
why.
still have it.
Yeah,
Quality.
it'll last you 100 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Your grandfather, you'll be a grandfather. Say, I bought this in Italy
I bought this in Italy.
85 years ago. Still works. Look at how good it is.
Look how good it is.
But life is tough.
It is.
Life is
It
tough,
is.
and we're talking about it. We're being honest about it. I think a lot of people are not talking about it.
No one's honest about it.
I can do a video and I can say, holy shit, I've been in business for 25 years. I'm having trouble covering my monthly expenses. This is hard. Nobody, not one peep. I get, 60, 70,000 views a month, right? Organic. You would think I would have 100 comments. Because
Nobody.
people would say, holy shit, agree. We're cutting back. Nobody wants to talk about this. I think people are embarrassed. I think people are ashamed. If you don't understand business and you're not a finance major or economics and you don't understand what's going on, it's confusing. You're like a deer out in the woods and you don't understand that you have a job that hasn't given you a raise, right? In 10 years or 5 years, or they gave you one for 5% like 2 years ago. But the cost of living continues to go up and your income doesn't go up. And I think a lot of people are just confused and they're having a tough time dealing with this.
But here, look at it this way, right? You get a 5% increase. You're making 100 grand. It's 5 grand. Roll that through to 12 months. What are you making? 400.
No.
400 bucks.
It's like a,
then you take
it's
out
like a
your
gift
taxes.
certificate at
Right.
McDonald's.
That's it. That's it. It's
then-
nothing. Oh yeah. It's like even
Everything's
if
$100,
right.
yeah.
Even if you got to go buy pizza now, pizza's like
Well,
20
pizza's still
something
good.
bucks.
Pizza's
right?
still good. It's
I
still
don't
affordable.
And you can only write off half, right? You can't write off the full for food and beverage.
Pizza's still affordable, but it's hard. It's getting harder and harder every day.
What do you think is going to happen?
I met Trump a couple of years ago. I had defaulted on about $4 or $5 million. I meet him. I said, I'm in trouble. I just defaulted on $4 or $5 million. I don't know what to do. I've never experienced that. And he looks at me and says, call the bank and work it out. I said, what do you mean? Let's just tell them what's going on and they'll, and he walks away from me. I think I spoke to him for like 5-6 seconds.
Yeah.
They reorged my, short sales or modifications. I converted that into a business. I was making like $50,000 a month, reorging other people's loans. I was doing businesses on the small business side, so it became a business. I think we're gonna get that. It's gonna come back. I think that a lot of people overextended themselves. Even if they didn't extend themselves, the income stayed the same and the expenses went up. So we're gonna see some of that stuff, and you have to be smart enough to know how to deal with that. Bankruptcies, are big. Not the 7s, but like a
Restructuring,
13, the 11s. I got some attorneys that I'm working with now. They'll reorg the loans. And then I'll give you a cool one. When you have an attorney and you start threatening Chapter 7, 11 or 13, the banks are like, hey, don't do that. We'll work something out. So some of that stuff, it's come back into play. And it's, you could make a lot of money doing that stuff.
Interesting.
Like, I'm talking about like $1 million a year.
Yeah.
Because
I had a friend that actually just
the
did that.
tickets are so high, right? The average house is $800-900, whatever that is, right? So whatever percentage you put on the reorg is just big money.
Yeah.
But bankruptcies are a big. It's a big business,
Yeah, my
and
buddy
not
was-
that
yeah.
you're an attorney, but if you affiliate yourself with an attorney, you can pick up the transactions on the real estate.
Yeah. Yeah.
What we're seeing with a lot of banks, though, the past couple of years, right? The price of real estate has gone so high that there's nothing to work with. So, for instance, you had people that, say you have somebody that owes like 300-400 grand. Your house is worth 900 grand.
Correct. There's
Bank's
equity.
Right. There's equity. The bank's not going to talk to you. But a lot of these people don't know their house is worth 900 grand. And they're defaulting on
defaulting, not
400
knowing.
grand.
It's sad.
And right, which is sad. And what's happening is these banks are moving quicker on those loans than the ones where they're even money or upside down.
I get it. So their goal, well, they can reorg because the banks won't reorg if you have equity. The goal is for them to sell the house to leave with a couple of hundred.
But a lot of them don't know that. That's
Well,
the problem.
nobody wants to move. Nobody wants to move. You've been in the same house for 20, 30 years. So,
Yep.
but you have to, somebody has to, make it a point to say, hey, either you lose everything or you can walk away with $150,000, $200,000, and then somebody else makes a little bit of money. But we're going to see a lot of that stuff. And I think it hasn't happened because of the equity, and it hasn't happened because of the rates. A lot of people are holding on to those 2-3% rates.
Right.
But you could make a lot of money doing that. But it's going to come back, and it's going to come back strong.
Chris, we had a mutual friend where the father didn't want to move.
Yeah, yep.
And he was upside down,
Same
going through
situation.
foreclosure. Same situation. There was equity. And we told the kid, sell the house. No, my dad don't want to move. Well, he's got no choice. He's going to lose everything. And what does he end up doing? File bankruptcy.
Yeah.
For bankruptcy.
And that's the only way he stayed in the house.
So bankruptcy is such a big part of real estate, and a lot of people don't talk about that because it has a
Bad connotation to it.
correct, but it's real, it's necessary, especially if you're buying a property in Florida with a 5% cap rate, and your rates went up 15-20% on the
Unforeseen.
insurance policy. So you have no other choice but to go back to the bank and say, hey, not that I did anything wrong. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a gambler, and I don't hang out with hookers. My insurance policy went up 15-20%, so I kind of got hurt. So either you guys help me out or I file for bankruptcy, and they They adjusted.
Yeah.
Because a couple of months ago, everybody was talking about the commercial loans
Right.
resetting.
That was gonna.
Guess what?
I never did.
I never heard. I haven't heard one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one article where people are saying, "Oh,
It's
commercial
reset.
rates, the whole sector blew up." They worked everything out because they knew they had a problem. So they said, "Let's work it out, because if not,
We're gonna
this
have,
is gonna have a
big
big problem, and it's gonna kind of like snowball into the residential. So let's cap it and let's work it out, because the guys were good. You know, the guys in commercial been around for a long time, so they say these are the numbers. Adjust it. I didn't do anything wrong. It's just
That's it.
But you see the guy in the Hamptons. He killed himself. I forgot his name. This summer,
It does
high
ring a
society, but some guys can't take it. You're a multi-millionaire for many, many years, and you've done well, and your lifestyle is based on a lot of money. When you don't have the money, things go the wrong way. They have a hard time adjusting. They don't know how to reach out to attorneys for bankruptcy advice, reorgs, and they just off themselves. They can't see themselves living without 2 or 3 houses, without the cars,
the
without
travel,
money,
everything.
the travel, and they have wives that are high society
Expectations.
and,
Right.
boom. And I've seen a lot of guys that have killed themselves. It's
crazy.
Attorneys, investors.
It happens.
Yeah, because you're living that high life,
happens.
and then all of a sudden, you got to go back. But
It's tough. It's tough. Like my mother says, let's go to the casino. I said, "Ma, I can't go to the casino." She goes, "Why you invite me to dinner then?" Because we used to do dinner
Yeah.
and then go to the casino,
Casino,
right?
yeah.
So she says, "I could have had dinner at home."
Yeah.
But it's expensive because you have dinner at $400-500.
Yeah.
Then if I give her $400-500 and I play a couple of $100, it's
Yeah.
$1,500 a night, $2,000 a night, right?
Yep.
Not cheap.
So if you don't have it, when you have it, you don't care. You do it. When you have it, you could do it 2-3 times a month.
It
You
doesn't
don't have
matter.
it. You're like, "Ma, I can't do it because I gotta, pay some bills, right?"
Yeah.
But she's like, "What? You okay? You need some money?" I said, "Ma, you're
Yes,
like,
I do.
now Mom's gonna say, "Yeah, I'll take you."
Then she starts saying, my son is a loser. But you get what I'm trying to say. This is
100%.
hard. This is hard.
It is hard, and this is what I like. I mean, we just sit
It's
here,
real.
we talk. It's real. You
Yeah.
know, like you said, a lot of people are not going to
BS.
admit it. They're gonna, hey, everything is great.
I made
you know,
$100,000
I
last
made
month,
100
yeah.
grand on this
Bullshit.
project. I made come on. By the
Bullshit.
time you break it down, that 100 grand is maybe a 5 grand if you're lucky.
Yep.
But nobody's gonna admit it. Nobody's gonna say, hey, you know what? Things are tough. Things are bad. It's not as easy as it looks. And you know what? This is real. This is what I like about this.
Church, crowded. My girlfriend's like, "Let's go to church." I'm like, "Why do I go to church? I pray every day. I pray 20 times a day." She goes, "Let's go to church. It's not the same." Couldn't find parking on a Sunday. Not kidding. Englewood, New Jersey. Beautiful church. Nice big lot. Crowded. So, see
How
the
much was
priest.
parking? You had to buy parking.
I see. I should have a valet service over there. So, I see the priest. I said, "Crowded." See the priest. I said, "It's crowded." He goes, "Everybody's worried about the economy." I said, "You serious?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "You should have spoke about that. You should have addressed it."
Yeah.
Because he should say, "I know everybody's having a hard time. We're gonna get through it. Buckle up a little bit,
Yeah.
right?"
Don't put too much in the basket today. Save it for
they won't
yourself.
say that.
Yeah.
They won't say. Yeah.
They won't say
I'm
that,
just kidding.
It's so true.
but this is real.
Yeah.
Right? I'll give you one. Go down to Mulberry Street for the San Gennaro Fest. I go every year. I got friends that I've been friends with for 40, 50 years. Second,
Still there.
third generation in the restaurant business. House business. Tough. My rent, $20,000-30,000 a month. My PSC, my electric bill, $10,000 a month.
Everything.
Do you know how much pasta you need to sell?
My uncle went under there. He had a restaurant there
Yeah.
for 2 years.
What's the name of the restaurant?
Focolare.
So, the new guys you could see going out of business, but not
The old
second and
timers.
third generation.
Angelo's burnt. Yeah.
But no, they, you know,
Umberto's
they-
still there?
yeah,
Yeah,
But
it's
he's
brutal.
hanging. He's hanging by a thread. Operating expenses are too high. They're too high.
Danico's still there, right?
Yeah, Danico.
Danico's
He's a
still
good friend of mine.
Besides the operating expenses, the food, everything is high.
everything's expensive. Their profit margins are
Yeah,
low and their
everything's
expenses
shrinking.
are low. There's a documentary out. Everybody should check it out. It's called The Last of Italy, Little Italy. And, it's just so hard. The local Catholic school where my kids went to, now condos, apartments that were $400 or $500 a month. Now they're $5,000-6,000 a month, and they're 5-floor walk-ups.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It's tough to be a business owner. I'll give you an example. I had a couple of friends that got into the McDonald's franchise business. If you had one store, 2 stores, you were a millionaire. You had a nice house.
A lot of cash flow.
You had nice cars. You had nice vacations. You were sending your kids to the best
Private
schools in the
schools,
in the
everything.
country. Guess what? Now they have 6 or 7. They're barely making it. The profit margins are this thin. Why? Because the franchise, right, the company itself, continues to raise their operating expenses and the cost of goods, and
Not the
they
same.
don't allow them to pass the cost on
Less
to the customer.
cash.
So they have to do serious volume to make that type of money.
And less cash too is a huge difference. You
one
can't
one
you can't hide.
McDonald's. You had one McDonald's and you had a beautiful house. And even it goes back to a pizza shop. The local pizza shop owner
forget it.
had a nice car.
Making 40, 50
He had
grand
his
a month.
wife, he had his girlfriend, maybe 2 girlfriends. He had
Paying their apartments.
He'd go on vacation. He had a nice watch on. He had a nice chain on. Now he's barely making it,
And he's working there full time.
and he's working 7 days a week, maybe 12 hours a day, 6-7 days a week.
Yeah, that's the truth.
This is
No,
what
it
we're
is.
living. I grew up. I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to be one
You
of those
wanted,
guys. I wanted to be a business owner. But being a business owner these days is working 7 days a week and not making any money. They come in at 10, they work till 11 o'clock every night, 7 days
Back
a
the
week.
next day.
I say, when do you see your kids? I say, I see them in the morning before they go to school. And once in a while, my kids' friends ask if their dad is still around. But guess what? I'm here. I'm working. I can't hire anybody. 1, because I can't afford it, and 2, they'll
robbed.
steal.
Yeah.
They too much cash. But it's hard. Could you imagine working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day? But
No.
this is what we're living.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
do
fucked
it. I
up.
do it now, selling real estate,
Yeah.
but not all the constantly. But you're always working.
call.
But
You're
still,
always-
you're
yeah.
always on call.
It's
But
hard.
It's hard. It's tough. I mean, I don't know where we're gonna end up because, like you said, the expenses, the house expenses, the taxes, the food, the insurance, everything else.
That's no vacations, that's no extras,
right.
yeah.
Not going out to dinner. You go out to dinner, you and your wife, or your girlfriend.
I always get the bill. If we went out to dinner,
It's
maybe
huge.
not you with that shirt, they'll give you the bill. I go out to dinner with 10 people.
Yeah.
I always get the bill. I don't know fucking why. I don't know why. I always get the bill. I'm like, why are you giving me the bill for? I don't even know you, right?
Yeah.
They don't even know me here. I always get the bill. And because I'm so accustomed to paying the bill, I'll just take the bill.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know what it is. It's crazy. So you're like, man, I don't want to go to dinner. You think I'm on a Ozempic. I'm not even hungry. But it's crazy.
Let's order takeout, or we'll go pick it up.
Yeah, we'll
This way
eat at home.
That's it. We'll save
we'll
on
make
the
a
bar.
couple of sandwiches.
We'll save on the bar tab, and we'll save on the tip. We're in
Exactly.
good shape.
But it's wild. It's
crazy,
wild,
man. It's
I mean, there's
crazy.
different scenarios that I'm starting to see that are just like, this is bad, and it's getting worse, and I don't know. We know what the solution is, right? You got to get some stuff from China and maybe open up. Give you guys what I came up with over the last couple of months because I've been working on something different. So in the past, we would take a retail store, and I would say open up a liquor store, or I would open up a grocery store, and I'll sell coffee and sandwiches, or a pizza shop, whatever it is, right? Take the retail store, I'll negotiate a 10-year lease. I'll build the store out, and I'll put up a sign, and you would making enough money to have a little fun, go out,
Sure.
with your wife, your girlfriend, cover the rent. But now you don't do that anymore because you're not going to cover your monthly expenses. So now you got to open up an online store. So you get an online store, get the products from China. You don't even get the products. You become an affiliate marketer.
Yep.
And then
Drop shipping.
Right. So they click. You do the promo, you do the marketing, and then you pick up $150,000 a month in sales. You pick up 5% of that, and then you get a check. but you're selling to the whole country, and you're doing it via video,
spread is
and you're
huge.
doing through your spread is small, but
I'm saying
your market share.
Yeah, your market. Yeah,
So your profit margins are your margins are small, but
more volume.
right, you're not covering a town or a
Not
county.
7,000 people.
Right. You're covering 330 million people in the country. I think a little bit more. But that's some of the new stuff that you need to work on, that we need to work on. And it could be any product. So if a wife were to do it with baby products, because she has children of that age, she'll be fitted for that. We'll be, we could do it for shirts, or like if you have your pool, you could test a new filtering system, a new robot. So a new patio set, umbrellas. So it's a cool product, but and it fits your demographics and the guys that are like in your stage in life that could afford a $5,000 robot so that they don't have to like vacuum the pool. And then you're young, so you could say, oh, some workout gear or gym gear, whatever it is, and then you have 15 20 products that are generating enough income for you to pick up a check.
I 100% agree.
Look into that stuff.
Yeah.
Look at this, the new mousetrap.
It's the truth, though.
No, it is the truth, and I'm glad you're talking about it too, because a lot of people are just going to keep that inside. Hey, I'm not going to give anybody my ideas. I'm not going to, do this or whatever. But this is great.
Well, we have to add value.
You have to.
You have to add value. So the way you differentiate yourself as a marketing company is to add value to me. Before you walked in, I was talking. We were talking about one of my customers. He's spending $80,000 a month at Google ads, but he has a roofing company. He's not making that type of money. So I told him, you need to talk to somebody to make sure that $80,000 a month is not better served in different areas.
Right?
Because he's been looking at that same formula for the last 5-10 years, but over the last 18-24 months, it's not working. So he needs to look at something else. Yeah. We can't continue to go on the same road and say,
expect the
what
same,
are we going to do? What are we going to do? We got to do different things. If not, we're going to die, or we're going to continue to shrink to the point where you're selling off assets just to cover your monthly expenses. And if you outlive all your assets, then you're in trouble. And that's a concern for a lot of guys that have a lot of assets.
You know what, too? In retirement, your expenses will double. So then what do you do?
Well, I'm going to add to this, and then we're going to stop, right? So
I love this, by the way.
I have a friend. Her mother is got Alzheimer's, and they have a house, and it's worth like 1.6, 1.7. So she went for help, and they said, because you have a house and your monthly your care is $30,000 a month, $35,000 a month.
That's a lot.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you the care up to you have zero equity. So it's costing her $360,000 a year. So if she lives for 4 or 5 years, the estate has zero, then they start helping her out. So she has 3 daughters that were expecting that when the mom dies, maybe $1.5 million, 500 each. They kind of need it because they have young families, and that was, they were kind of banking on it. But now they're like saying, fuck. We can't take care of mom because we all go to work.
Yep. And that money's not coming.
So 2 of the sisters are like, fuck. Like, let's kill it. That's a joke.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Use the pillow.
Right. Let's kill her. But no, that was a joke. But the point is, if the mom lives for 4 years, there's nothing left.
And then they have to support her.
2 of the sisters are like saying, fuck.
Yeah,
I'm barely hanging on, and they're good girls. They're nurses, and their husbands are like electricians or plumbers, and they were kind of hoping to get a bump for like 400 or 500 when she passes, but that's not coming because the state says if you have a little bit of money, then
they go after
it. They're going to go after it.
So the goal is, as you continue to get older, not to have anything, so that if
take it out of your name.
Happens,
if something happens,
100%.
But now,
you get a little bit of help.
They go back. I think 7 years.
Yeah, there's a look back period.
Now.
I think 5 years, 7 years.
We can't give here. You can't give your house, or I can't give my house to my kids, and something happens next year. they go back and they say, wait a minute, he had, that. and
Well,
he
it's
had this.
strategic planning. So
Right.
the goal is, and they kind of knew that this was coming, and I had spoken to the mom. I said, you should really give the kids to the house like in an LLC and let them all become 33%.
Right.
And then, but she was like, oh, you trying to take my house?
Yeah.
I said, no, we're not
They
trying to
don't
take your
realize.
house. But she was so afraid of giving up the house.
Right.
And now,
I had that conversation recently with my grandmother.
yeah,
Same
it's a
situation.
problem. They look at you, they get nervous because they're not as
right.
sophisticated. So when you get older and you become of age, then you would be okay signing off on documents.
Yeah.
I'm okay with signing.
'Cause
I'm
you know.
55 and I'm already planning.
Yeah.
So I'm saying to myself, I don't want to have anything at 65 or even 62 or 63. If I get sick tomorrow, I don't want them to take my assets to cover my my expenses. So I'll just zero everything out.
Yeah.
You
It
have
makes
to.
the most sense.
No, but,
And then
but
you hope
have
and
to.
pray that you
You're
don't get
outliving it.
screwed
Yeah.
by your
All of a
family,
sudden,
by the kids.
all of a sudden, your kids will come back and say, "Remember, Dad, you
Yeah.
gave me the house like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah.
It's mine."
Yeah, and he looks like a rapper with a bunch of gold chains and a Ferrari. You're like, hey,
That's my car.
then what the fuck? But
You're taking the car too?
yeah, no, real stuff, right?
No,
Real
no,
stuff.
it is. It is real.
But
And
this is stuff that
that
you know,
nobody wants
talks
to,
about it.
Right.
This
nobody
is my favorite
talks
episode,
about
by the way.
it. No, I'm enjoying it.
Nobody
We
talks
can-
about it, and you know, it's and again, this is coming from becoming a millionaire in my 20s. You know, getting it back in my early 30s and then losing it again. I mean, and this is like going to AC or to Vegas, you know, without the fun. You know, work.
It's the truth.
But there's good stories behind it.
There is,
Right?
there
There's
is.
good stories behind it.
There is. There's always, the good, the bad, but you're right. You're right. I mean, you have
you're,
to.
You're Italian, right? Mm-hmm. So I heard a good joke, right? So the guy goes, I never do anything, illegal, right? I said, you're Italian. You come from a rough area. You grew up in the 50s and the 60s. You guys were a little, creative. He goes, I went to jail once for like a day. I didn't like the food. That's why I don't do anything bad. But you get what I'm trying to say. The food is bad. I said, that's funny. That's funny, right? Big guy, Sal. And he's down from Little Italy. He goes, food is so bad. I never want to go back again.
I don't want to go back.
at all.
I
I'm not
said,
doing
they
anything
should tell all the
illegal.
kids. You like pasta? You like pizza?
They don't have that
You like
there.
Wendy's?
They don't have.
Don't
it
get
over
in
there.
trouble because they don't
get
have
in
that
trouble.
stuff.
Oh shit! That's
But I'm glad
too
I
funny.
came out. One, it's been quiet, so there's not a lot of activity going on. If you're not lying to customers and saying, "Oh, you're gonna get $5,000 a month," when the real, rental income is $3,500 or $4,000, and they're gonna be cash flow. Those guys are busy and they're doing some serious volume.
They're doing it, but it's going to catch up to them. And we're talking, and I have realtors come up to me all the time, and I'm sure they come up to you too. Hey, I got this deal for you. Look, come and take a look.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell you the house for $450. It's worth $700. All day long. You walk into the house, there's garbage up the gazoo.
Yeah.
You need about 200 and something grand to renovate it. So you look at it, $450. 200, 650. I run my numbers.
Carry all that, yeah.
Right. It's only worth like maybe 600 by the time all is done. And I go, and you want to sell this to me for 450? I go, I'll tell you what, sell it to the new guy that's been watching HGTV.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
But Vito, the problem is those guys, like you say, top 50 in the country. I'm like, top 50 in the country. And they those are the pitches.
Yeah.
So when we meet with a customer and you're saying, I wouldn't buy that. That's not a good deal. The rental income is not accurate. You're going to have a tough time picking up the rental income. They don't want to hear it. They'd rather do the deal. And they close. And you look
Yeah.
at the transaction and say, that fucking property sold.
Yeah.
For
And
how much?
that much? And you're like, holy shit. And then
I
you're
say
like,
that
who's the
motherfucker
idiot?
should go to
Check in
jail.
6 months, yeah.
And I'm like, who's the idiot? And then I'll look at, I'll go on the back end and look at the county clerk and say, and then I'll look and I'll Google the name and everything. I go, what a moron.
But they're
You
being
know?
sold this. They're being told this, and they don't know, right? And they don't know how hard it is to pick up rents. They don't understand that the utility bills are through the roof, and the taxes are going to go up, and insurance is going up, and the rental income is going to come down. or their monthly expenses are going to go up and their income is going to stay the same. So they're being sold this, and it's being sold to young school teachers,
Professionals
police officers.
that are on a fixed income.
Yeah,
and-
so this is the.
That-
So if
that's
you're an
what they
honest
get.
guy and you have a half a conscience, then
You're not gonna
gonna sell.
Nope.
So I feel bad sometimes because I'm on my platform and I see all the realtors saying closed,
Closed,
and then
yeah.
I'll give you the best BS.
Yeah.
When they show up to the to the closing with the balloons and the champagne.
I completely
And,
agree. We were yelling at each other last week, going crazy.
So I've never taken a balloon,
To a closing.
champagne, to a closing. That's all fucking bullshit, right?
They got
That's-
the
yeah.
key and
They
stuff.
got the
Yeah.
key and
The soul sign, and they're going like this, and
and then I've never done that. I've never done that. I'm old fashioned, but every week they have closings, and they have every month they have a couple of closings. I don't have closings. So you're like, oh man, and I'm in the business for a long time, 25 years, and with my own money, I could just live off of my inventory.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's funny you say that. You see these realtors, like you said, with the key, the balloons, this and that, and they're giving them a gift. Of course, they're giving them a gift. They just sold
fucked
them a
them.
bag of goods that you're going to be like. I don't know how they sleep at night, but you just sold them something that
They can't
you wouldn't
afford.
want to sell to anybody. But yet, you're doing this. Me, the other way, when I do a deal, I get the gift. The people actually bring me a gift
'Cause it's
to
a real
thank
deal.
me.
It's a real
to
deal.
thank me. Hey, you did so much for me. You got me such a great deal. We did an inspection. You got me $25K back. You got me $10K back. I was happy
You
without
added-
getting zero back.
You added value. You
Right.
added value to the transaction and to the customer. And you say, hey, watch out for this and watch out for this.
Right.
And they inspected the property and they got a credit for this and they got a credit
Right.
for that.
And they'll be like, oh, okay, we're good with 5K. I'm like, no, I want
Yeah.
10. You're like, what do you
And
mean?
you'll
No,
get it.
no, we're good with 5. No, wait. Don't
call you
worry
back.
about it. I'll call you back in a half hour. Hey, I got you 10. Are you shitting me? Well, I was good with 5. 10 is better.
And I'll tell you
then
why.
I'll get a nice $100, $200 bottle of wine.
I'll
So-
tell you why. Because the other realtor is saying, don't ask for anything over.
Right.
Put in over asking so that we could get the deal, and they don't care about the customer.
There you go. I had one today, right, where the seller calls me back and goes, hey Vito, I just got a letter from the attorney. They want this, and this, right? Let's just give them a credit. I said, Peter, relax. I already talked to your attorney. I'm going through it with the realtor. We'll take care of it, And he goes, okay, so you don't want me to? I said, don't worry about it. I called the attorney. I go, look, let me work on it with the realtor. I'll call you back. I call her back. She goes, hey, how'd you make out? I said, send the other attorney a letter. Inspection contingency resolved. Buyer and seller agreed to nothing. She goes, what? I said, send that. See what he says.
But V,
he
you
comes
know-
back. Wait, the other attorney, the buyer's attorney comes back. Confirmed, we're good.
So a lot of realtors don't even understand the
What you just said.
terminology that you just said.
Right.
So how the fuck are they going to relay that information
There you
to
go.
the attorney or to anybody else? Because they don't understand.
They-
They
They just want that check.
They
wanted the easiest way. Now I could have said to the seller, "Yeah, give him $5,000, give him $10,000. We're done. I don't have to worry about it." You know what? I made a couple extra phone calls and saved the guy
Vito,
$10,000.
in an up market, everybody's a movie star.
I can't wait till the market turns. I love the negotiation.
We're gonna open up a
part.
church.
I love the negotiation.
Thinking about buying a church. So, it's real story. The real stories. People have issues. They're real issues, and the bad part is marriages fall apart, and whenever you don't have any money and your wife wants to do it, she wants to go on vacation, and her friend's husband is doing better than you, she's like, hey, this is not what I signed up for. I'm a hot woman.
That's it.
You know what
They
the
leave.
number one reason for divorce is?
Money.
Marriage.
Marriage.
But no, it's real because
Yeah.
you don't feel good about yourself. Like when I don't make money, I feel horrible. I
Yeah.
don't want to do anything.
It's your scoreboard.
I don't want to get out of bed. I'm like, I have any money. What am I gonna do with no money? You know what I mean? I can't go out to eat. I can't go out to
Do the fun
things that I
stuff.
Want to do. Yeah.
But you gotta get up and you say, I'm gonna go jogging. I'm gonna go to the gym, and then you kind of motivate yourself to
Motivate.
listen to the positive videos.
But then you get back at it and you start making the money.
Yeah.
Dom, what advice would you give to the people out there?
You know,
right now.
I swear, you know, we were talking about a little bit about, and I'm not a religious person. I didn't grow up in church, but I met a guy when I was in my early 20s, mid 20s. He asked me if I prayed, and I said I pray, you know, 2-3 times a year when Easter, Christmas, New Year's, and all that stuff. He says try doing that a couple of times a day, and I said okay. He says just try it. So what it does for you, it gives you gratitude, and it gives you you're grateful for a little bit of wine, this
Good
conversation, laughing, the weather, you know, like basic stuff, right? If I have enough money for pizza, oh my God, this pizza's so good. So it gives you the gratitude, and then it just snowballs, like you said. It just snowballs, and then you do make the money. So, but if we not complain, oh, the bread is hard, you know, it's you know, I don't have any money. It just snowballs in the opposite direction. So I think praying it
Keeps you
helps.
positive.
And then you gotta stay fit, right? Because you know you gotta like eat right, take your vitamins, because you get old and you're overweight, and then you get sick, and then you're in trouble. But you have to try to like fitness is a part of you know the mind.
That's why I keep walking.
That's why you walk every morning.
Yeah, you gotta leave the car and go for a walk on Saturdays and Sundays. Europe, everybody walks.
It's important.
They nice shirt on, nice sweater, nice scarves. They go for a little walk, get a little wine. You know, don't stop drinking.
No.
You know,
We heard what happened to your doctor,
Yeah.
so we got to keep drinking.
So you know, you got to drink a little bit. The espressos work.
They do.
You know, they work. Get a couple of those in you. It'll keep your energy levels up. You know, and just be careful. You know, you're a good-looking guy. You got to be careful for the gold diggers. They're there when you're making money. They're not there when you're not making money.
They wait
So
at the
you gotta,
finish line.
You know, pick the right girl. That always helps.
Absolutely.
This is my favorite podcast.
I loved it. We had a good time. So on that note, my wine is done.
No. And if we went out for more drinks at a restaurant,
We'd be
it'll
here
really
going-
get funky.
That's it.
Get some hot chicks with us.
On that note, one day, and when that day does come and you need to buy or sell a house, you're going to call Vito Cantuzzi, the godfather of Northern New Jersey real estate. Salute.
Salute. And if you ever buy an old house and you want me to renovate it for you, buy the materials. I'll send you my guys. You pay them directly.
And you got
help you save some money.
and you call Domingo Santiago.
Yep.